Welcome to Torker, and welcome back to the Clint Miller Tribute Build. In the last episode, we installed the wheels and the cranks. This episode, I think we're on the home stretch. I think we're going to be able to get the chain on, the brakes, the seat, the lever, everything to make this a complete bike. At the end of this video, I think we're going for a ride. Okay, so I think the best place to start today is going to be putting on the chain. I'm using the ACS Crossfire. It has a kind of retro look to it, and it's just a great quality chain overall. So let's go ahead and get it out of the package. All right, got everything out. Let's get it on. So as I'm installing the chain, I'm going to try to stay out of the way as much as possible, but I kind of got to be in front of the bike to be able to see what I'm doing. So let's get this chain all out. Let's see how much we have to cut. All right, so we got quite a bit of extra there. Looks like we're going to have to cut off 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 full links. Let's go ahead and do that. So I just have the chain breaker here located where I want to break it. And there it goes. So now I'm going to just get the back wheel as far forward as possible, make it a little bit easier to line it up. Get that master link. And there we go. It is installed. So now we can adjust the chain back to where we need it. As I'm doing this, I'm going to make sure that the wheel is perfectly centered. That way I only have to really mess with it once. It's a little bit too tight. It could bind up on the freewheel and it could damage not only it, but damage your chainring as well. So, a tad bit of slack on it. How much is a tad? I don't know. It's for you to decide on your bike. For me, that should be about a tad. All right, that looks good. So now if you watched the last video, you'll remember whenever I put this on, I kept the chainring bolts loose. So whenever you put your chainring on, especially with the older style like this, there's usually a little bit of wiggle room. So to be able to get as much of that out as possible, you want the chain to be on so you can look for a loose and tight spot. Being profile, you know it's probably going to be a very good fit, but it's better to do it one time and be done with it. All right, let me tighten all that down. So just like when we did the stem, I'm doing this in a cross style. That'll keep everything from warping as you're tightening it. So I'm just going to work around this and then I'll be back. All right, so that's nice and tight now. Chain's good, chain's nice and even. Now we can go ahead and put on the pedals. All right, so for the pedals, I'm running the MKS BM7s. On Clint's original bike, he was running the BM10s, but the BM7s look pretty dang close. So if you've been watching the series up to this point, you already know what I'm going to say here. Any guesses? Might have just seen it. I just given you a hint. Put down in the comments if you know what I'm going to say. Make sure that any metal surfaces that are coming into contact get a little bit of grease. I'm putting a pedal washer on there just to kind of help protect the finishes. That's a sacrificial washer. And there we go. One pedal installed. One more to go. All right, pedals installed. All right, for the brakes, we're going to run the MX 1000s on the back. Throw her on. That shim on the back. And put on the nut. Once I start to adjust the brakes, I'll completely tighten this down. For now, I'll keep it just a little bit loose so I can adjust it as needed. Be able to get those brakes perfectly centered. So right away, you can see that the brake pads are way too far down. While it's easy to do it, I'm just going to back them off. I'm guessing they'll probably be all the way maxed out to the top since I maxed out the dropouts. All right, got this side on. All right, again, I'll come back to that, get everything all situated once I got the lever and the cable on. For the lever, I went with the Gold Tech 4 lever. I think Clint would have been running probably a Shimano. So you can get that just about where I think it's going to end up being. So now we'll install the cable. On this, I'm using the Odyssey slick cable. So first we're going to remove the cable from the housing, and we're going to install a ferrule. So you've probably seen the ferrules in the packages before whenever you've bought Odyssey slick cables in the past, and thought, why do they keep on throwing extra trash in there? Well, it's not trash. It is for vintage style levers like this. Instead of that adjustment barrel like you have on a modern brake lever, you just had a ferrule, and then you had a little stopper screw to stop it where you want it to stop. All right, so I'm going to kind of set about where I want the cable to be. I don't want too much hanging out, but I want enough so if like I crash and the bars get twisted, it's not going to be binding up or anything. All right, so now I'll pull the cable back out, kind of marked how long I want that housing to be. Pull it out, just enough to where I'm not going to cut the cable. And cut off the excess. There we go. Feed this line through here. It's a little adjusting barrel on the brake itself. Make sure the cable is nice and seated down in it. So we got the cable on, but just kind of hanging there, kind of floppy. And no, we're not using zip ties. So what else could we use? How about the Torker cable guides? Has the Torker logo engraved into it, made specifically for the old school style Torkers. But you can also use them on Haros or other double top tube that have the skinny tubes. So as I'm putting these on, I've used these on our old school builds. I've used them on our retro builds. They work on the LP. So they're not just for the new Torkers. You can use them on your old school Torker. All right, so we'll just move a little bit of this front end of the cable back, kind of give a little bit of a loop up there. Let there be some movement on the brakes there. So, all right, so I think that should be good for now. I'll set it in place. All right, brakes in place. Now it's time to adjust them. So now we're going to have to route the cable into the brakes. So go ahead and back this off. We'll feed the cable through. So whenever I'm adjusting these, I like to make sure that this flap is down. What this is for is to help you release the brakes whenever you're going to take the wheel off. So you can just flip that lever up and it makes it wide enough for you to be able to pull the tire out. Let's just hold tight up against the rim. Now I'm going to tighten down the set bolt. All right. So I think I like the tension, maybe a little too tight. Just back it off just a little bit. Nice and tight, not going to go anywhere. I like the play in the lever there. All right. So now we have to adjust the center on the brakes. Right now it's pulling really heavy off to the left. So that's why I left everything loose. I'm going to back everything out and kind of reset it where I need it to be. We'll be able to adjust where the spring is. So since it is pulling heavy that way, I'm just going to back it all off. I'm going to turn it so it's pulling hard to us. Then I'll tighten it down and let it readjust. Pretty close. Use a tad bit more. And that's perfect. So now that's all set. I can cut the cable and put a crimp on. So on Clint's bike, he used to run a lever cover. This one is just a little bit too long. So I'm going to trim it down and then we'll slide it on. Have that same look that Clint used to run. Just take a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too much for this one. Now we'll slide it on. There we go. That looks pretty good. So while we're up here, I think it's about time that we install the grips. So on Clint's 26-inch, he was running Oakley grips. So we're going to put on the Oakley B1Bs. All right. So the way that I do it, I have a citrus-based adhesive remover. Works great. It just kind of melts a little bit of the inside, keeps your grip from twisting, but it doesn't damage the grip. Doesn't take a whole lot, and it dries up pretty quick. So drip the extra out onto the bar itself, and we'll slide it in. While it's still wet, get all of the little circles lined up. Get the Oakley logo so it's upright. Make it look good. Now we'll go ahead and do the other grip. All right, we're getting close. Now we can install the seat post clamp, the seat post, and the seat. So it took me this long to do the Barbarian build, mainly because I've been waiting, just like you guys, on the new UNI-MAX seats. Clint didn't run a Uni seat on his bike, but I did want to run one on this one. So we have the new pivotal UNI-MAX seat. I think that's going to look pretty good on there. So now we have the seat post clamp. It's a MX style hinge seat post clamp in cobalt blue. Looks pretty sweet to me. Just gonna kind of snug it up a little bit just so I don't have a bunch of play whenever I put the seat post on. All right, so go ahead and put that seat post in, and I think I'm going to kind of do it low. Clint ran it low, but I'm quite a bit taller than he was or is, so maybe I'll leave just a little bit up for now. If I need to put it back down, I can. Just snug that in there, and grab a little bit more grease. I'm greasing the threads on the pivotal post. Doesn't need a whole lot. Grab that seat. So I have some Unis and Elena's and Stoker seats. And one thing about this being a pivotal is being able to really adjust it. Like, you know, sometimes whenever you're building an old school bike, you know, your seat ends up being way far down, ends up being way up. Now you got all the adjustment you want to be able to really put it where it needs to be for the bike, not just, you know, you throw it in there and it's, you know, that's it. Well, not anymore. Now you could adjust it and still have that old school look. So that's nice and tight. Now that the seat's on, I can adjust the angle. And all right. So everything's tight. We got the drivetrain all set. Got the brakes working. Everything's here. I think the last thing to do now is just the dress up. So we'll put on the pads and the plate. So as you're finishing up your builds, we have these amazing Flite pads. The ones that are going to go on here are the vinyl with the snaps. We also have nylon in the old school, and we have them for the mid school as well. So if you're building up a diesel, you want to go for that full mid school look, you can throw on some mid school Flite pads. But this one, Clint was riding the vinyl snaps, so that's what we're going to run on the Clint Miller Tribute Build. That's slid back, looking clean. So the stem pad looks just like the original stem pad, but we did extend it, so you got a couple extra snaps, so it'll work on the original short Ultra 6 or Ultra 4, as well as the new, little bit longer Ultra 6. All right, looking nice. Now we'll put on a crossbar pad. So we'll have a number plate, so we'll make sure the Torker is facing towards you. Be able to see that logo. All right, pads are on. It's amazing how just adding those pads makes it look that much better. So now, finish it off with a number plate. All right, got that big number 11, just like what Clint had on his 26-inch. You know, it's kind of crazy. Me and Bill are both building a number 11 bike. So Tommy Bracken's was a number 11, and Clint was a number 11, so kind of neat. And I think that's it. Only thing left to do now is to polish it up and take it for its first ride. All right, so that's going to do it for the Clint Miller Tribute Build, built from the Retro Barbarian. If you're looking on torkerracing.com, that's going to be the Barbarian Gen 2. It comes with the 1-inch threaded forks. So what do you guys think? Did you like how we did the build? Do you like how the parts all came together? Do you like how we filmed it? Did you like having the details? Did you want us to speed up? We want to make sure that we're making content that you like. So go down into the comments, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see. And throughout the build, I've been asking, if you could build a tribute, who would you build a tribute to? Even if you can't build it, if you leave a comment down below, we might see it, we might be able to build it for you, so you get to see the build that you've been dreaming of. But after you've gone into the comments, you made your comments, we got the bike done. Hopefully you've been following along and you've had enough time to build yours too, because I think it's time to take this thing for a ride.